sexual camping experience.
All right.
So a couple of years ago, I decided to quit my job at NYU and leave New York City and go woofing for a while. Does anyone know what woofing is? Yeah. So for any of you who weren't like nodding or clapping, it's when you volunteer yourself to work on a farm, an organic farm of some sort. WOOF stands for Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. So you can say like, hey, I'm a volunteer, and go into this database and find farmers who are like looking for volunteers. And then you do work on their farm in exchange for, you know, staying there on their property or in their house or whatever, and they feed you. So it's like a good way to travel, but you can also like do some farm work and shit, which I was like really excited about, because I just gotten a degree in environmental education, which is a whole other thing that I've yet to utilize. But I went farming, which was awesome. So I went out to Oregon, because I had like the Pacific Northwest in mind specifically, like, it's a place I've never been, and it seems really awesome, and I just want to check it out, and like farm and crap. So I went to this organic farm, and they mostly did blueberries, and it was in like the middle of nowhere. It was in Oregon, but it was in like eastern Oregon, in the high desert country, and it was like basically Idaho, and it was super, it was like up in the mountains. And we were like a good, hour, literally, from the closest town. It was like 45 minutes to the closest gas station. So we were like really in the middle of fucking nowhere, which was like pretty wild. So I get there at like I land at like 6 or 7 p.m. and then we get dinner near the airport, and then it was like a 5-hour drive or something back to their house from the airport. So we wind up like after everything getting back really late. It's like 11 at night or something, and we need to get up in the morning at like 6 to get ready for the day. And so like I get there and I'm really excited, and I just had like dinner at Olive Garden because that was like the only restaurant available. They're like, do you like Italian food? And I was like, oh, you mean Olive Garden? So the day begins, and I'm like so excited, and I'm like, what am I gonna wear? And I had like a lot of clothes with me. I like packed kind of a lot for this kind of a trip, which is fine. But so I get up in the morning, and it's me and 2 other woofers are there at that point in time, and it's me and 2 dudes. There was one dude who was like 20 years old and like super tall and like real strapping and like very tan. They were both very tan. And and then the other dude had like a crazy beard and like a lot of hair and was like really kind of quiet and like looked down a lot and like put on his headphones to like get ready for the day or something after breakfast. And he was like really quiet and really hot. So I was like, this is okay. This is gonna be great. So we like go and pick blueberries, and over the course of being there, I was there for like a couple months. Over the course of being there, I got to know the people. It's a very small crew. It's just like the couple that lives there. That's their place, their small farm or whatever. And the one woofer, the younger one, left after like a week that I was there. He was like moving on to other woofing opportunities and things. So it was me and this one other dude who's like the scruffy beard, quiet guy. And so we get to know each other pretty well. And we get to know that we both like to drink a lot. And we get to know that the guy who lives there, one of the owners of the place, likes scotch a lot. So this was a nice combination of things. So we would have these like awkward late night conversations and things, and we'd be like up way later than we were like supposed to be or whatever. And these people would like go to bed, and it was a really quiet house, and like I mean, it was a decent-sized house, but still, it was like really quiet, and you could probably hear everything. So we'd be like giggling, talking in the living room, and like kind of flirting, but being super awkward, and like drinking scotch, just trying to be like, oh, we shouldn't be drinking all this scotch. Ah, let's get another glass, and that kind of thing. So after a while, it becomes clear that like we like each other. It becomes clear, at least to like the people that live there. And so one day I'm out in the field, like we're walking out to the blueberry field to like pick blueberries for like 3 hours in the morning, which is how we started every day pretty much. And Dan, like one of the guys, the guy that lived there, one of the owners of the place, came up to me and the other woofer was like gone like down to the field, but Dan was like, hey Kristen, you know, I just want you to know it's totally fine if like you and Josh are having sex or whatever, but just try to keep it down because we can hear everything, and like Robin, that was Dan's wife, Robin like can't sleep and stuff and blah blah. And I was like mortified, like, oh my god, like we are not, nothing is going on, I don't know what you're thinking, like that's insane, how could you like suspect me of this thing, and like I feel like I don't know, like under fire, and like, he just thinks I'm some slut, I'm some like farm slut that's going around and helping all these farms, like what the fuck, I'm totally pure, like I'm not here for that shit, man. That's what it's about. I'm like exploring myself and my life and like farms. But like what I actually said, or what I tried to say, was like, oh well, we are not doing anything, but we will definitely keep it down and go to bed earlier. So then later, I tell Josh like, oh my god, can you believe like this thing that Dan said? Oh, weird. Can you believe that he thinks that we're like doing something? Oh my god, how would anyone possibly think that? We would be, right? Because you're not, right? I don't know. Whatever. So, so then like, a couple nights later, there was like a variety of awkward exchanges, and one night we had separate bedrooms in the like main house, and so one night Josh was like in my bedroom, and we're like sitting up late, and we're just like giggling and talking, and we actually had a conversation about like the awkwardness and maybe he should kiss me, and I'm like, God, it's just like so awkward, insane. But we were just like there in the middle of nowhere, with all these like really extremely romantic things happening at the same time. Like it was partially not even our fault, you know, because we were like in the middle of nowhere, and it's just like sky forever and like constellations, and they have like a hot tub outside, and there was like a natural hot springs down the road, and we always went to the hot springs at night, so we were like sitting in these hot springs like under the stars, and Robin and Dan would be like bickering about something in the corner, and we'd just be like, hey. Hey. Like, what do you fucking do? But like get totally seized with romance. So it wasn't our fault. So we have a series of awkward like moments and exchanges, and then like pretty early on, he was like, I want to go camp. There's this like mountain or something, and I want to go to that mountain and go camping and like maybe take a couple days. And Dan and Robin said that's fine. So, and I was like, oh, I would like that too. Like could I maybe go? I don't want to intrude on your like personal. You probably just want to go alone. And, but so we went camping together. So we left for like a few days and like took this camping trip, and so finally, we brought with us 2 bottles of wine, which like for big drinkers is not necessarily like, I mean it was like good for one night, but we were there for 2 nights, so we went through our supply kind of quickly. we set up our camp and we're like hiking around a little bit, and then like, you know, it starts getting dark, and so we make some dinner and we like open a bottle of wine, and then we're like getting like closer and closer, and like finally we start kissing and like making out and stuff. But then it gets like super awkward because we tried to use a condom, but that was like not working. Things weren't really happening when the condom was introduced. So we tried that for a little while, and that was like not really working out. So then at some point I was just like, fuck it, so that's like not that funny, I guess. But so it was whatever. Anyway, everything's fine. Like I'm probably infertile anyway, and that's a whole other story maybe. But so everything worked out really great. And so our camping trip that started really awkward wound up being like really fun and great, actually. And after that, we didn't care what Dan and Robin could hear in their quiet house. And we were leaving soon anyway, so that is my scandalous, slutty farming experience.